Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Road Atlanta for the 10th and final round of this season's Club 100 iRacing Championship. The time is here. We may have already crowned our overall champion for this season, but there are still plenty of things to be decided, including the class winners in both the Clubman and the Intermediate classes, to see who will join Matt Swain as one of our free Club 100 real-life race winners for this season of the Club 100 iRacing Championship. Myself, Andrew Mather, is alongside Reeve Taylor once again in the DDMM virtual comms box. Reeve, really excited for this tonight. This should be a relatively quiet night in terms of not being bored out there, because this is a stunning circuit. Lots to be decided in terms of championship. We've talked obviously about intermediates and clubmans, but also lots of the placings, the major placings for the prize pot as well. We've got nearly $500 US in iRacing dollars to hand out after tonight.
We do indeed. Plenty to play for, as you say, here at a fantastic venue, although I do think we'll be doing very well to top the excitement of the end of the races from a fortnight ago in the MX-5s. That was some really exciting stuff, but very much looking forward to this round, and quite sad that we're already at round 10, the final round. It feels like it's flown by, but actually it's quite a long season.
I was going to say, it's been, what, a 22-week season, every 2 weeks, flipping between the MX-5s and the GT3s, with just the winter break as well for Christmas. Let's have a look at the scores then. This is how the championship looks like heading into the final round. These are counting scores with each driver's worst GT3 race night and worst MX-5 race night drops. Obviously, the MX-5s are locked in. What everybody's trying to do tonight is improve on what at the moment is their next worst drop. So, as I say, 10 rounds, 7 counting scores. You drop your worst GT3 round night, you drop your worst MX-5, and then whichever of the next scores are. So it could either be a GT3 or an MX-5 score. Basically, it's a score you don't want to have at the end of the season. Matt Swain is locked in. 1624 points on the board. That is a score that cannot be beaten. And he's here tonight as well, so also gets the full complement of 75 bonus points. Remember, those have come into play now as well. If you've done all the MX-5 nights, that's 30 points. If you do all the GT3 nights, that's another 30 points. And of course, if by definition you've then done all of them, that's another 15 points. That could come into play in the battle for second. Max Andrews and Tom Roberts. 14-17 for Andrews at the moment, 13-46 for Roberts. The easy way to talk about this for Max Andrews is if Max is in the top 3 in both races tonight, remember it's the 40-minute race format for the GT3s, Max will claim second in the championship. However, his average score in the GT3s this season has been around 185, 190 points. If that happens again, that could open the door for Tom Roberts, who's had some very strong results recently, to take that second place in the championship away from him. But this is where the bonus points come in. Max, by being in the lobby tonight, has already secured those 75 points. Roberts missed round 1, so whilst he can claim 30 bonus points for being at every single GT3 night, he can't claim the full 75. In short, if he's going to overhaul Max Andrews, he's not just going to overhaul Max Andrews' on-track score, he's got to overhaul that extra set of points that Max is getting as a result of being at every single round. It's still very much on, though, for that battle for second place. It's going to be one of the highlights of tonight. Sadly, no Axel Slijepcevic with us tonight. He's busy with work reasons, but we just want to say at the top of the show, well done to Axel. Axel will almost definitely be getting some form of one of the prizes from the prize pot. Well, maybe Sam Sanders or Ronald Grossman could still overhaul his score, but they would need very, very good nights tonight. Axel's been a great part of the season, and of course had a very, very strong finish. Was on the podium in the Premier class the last 3 times out. So sadly no Axel tonight. We have got both of our clubman rivals though. 12.09 for Saunders, 12.02 for Spinell. 7 points, very, very close. But we should note, in terms of drop scores, Sam Spinell has a lower drop score that he's getting rid of. So he's got a little bit more room to run into and potentially outscore Saunders. Again, the simple way that could be decided, although it probably won't be knowing the end of a season with drop scores, if Sam Spinell is in the top 3 in both races, it doesn't matter what Tom Saunders does. With how the drop scores are working out, Sam Spinell would take the Clubman title. Should I mention as well, Clubman's got quite a depth, what do you want, a filled load of people who's going to get some money at the end of this season. It goes quite a way down. I want to say to around 6th place in Clubman and upwards. Get some iRacing dollars, so keep an eye on that battle between Jack Eyre and Cam Watson, Andy Alston and Murray Adams as well. Then we get to the intermediate battle. Looking good for Matthew Shawnee. He's got a good advantage over Matthew Adey. Bonus scores won't really come into play in this one because both of them have been at every single round, so they're matching on that one. So this is a purely on-track battle. However, John Adey has been chipping away at that points lead. It was over 100 points not that long ago. It's now down to less than 70, 75 points. So that is another one that we'll have to keep an eye on across the course of the night. Could be decided in the first race. Lawrence Vines, Tim Ellis, David Whitehouse, they're all racing for pride at the end of the season, although David Whitehouse could get some iRacing dollars as well with 3rd place in the title picture. But let's also move to where the rookies are. Daniel Cook has a decent lead, over 100 points in the rookies. These guys are just racing for iRacing dollars. Remember, the top 3, Premier, Clubman, Intermediate, the champions in each of those classes gets a Club 100 race day, either in the SP40 North Championship or the Experience Championships for winning that one. The rookies are just racing for the iRacing dollars. Daniel Cook will be looking to seal that deal here tonight if he can have a strong run through the 2 races, 40 minutes apiece, Reeve. And as I say, plenty of things to be decided here tonight at a cloudy but thankfully not rainy road Atlanta. The Georgia weather being kind to us. It is not like some parts of the east coast of America at the moment, which are under about a million feet of snow. But I swear, the randomized weather generator does not like me. It's partly cloudy again. No mixed conditions for anybody.
I think you might have accidentally had it set to the UK setting,
yes.
Potentially, if it's just constant grey. But as a driver, I'm sure probably quite appreciative of that. But as you say, I think the weather gods have been a little bit on the gentler side overall this season.
They have indeed. So the night will start once again with a 10-minute qualifying session that will set the grid for race number 1. Everyone has 2 timed laps that they can do. They don't have to do them, but most of them will want to do them. It's quite a short circuit. This probably the shortest circuit that we've had for the GT3s. Lap times in the practice session, for example, running in fact very quick pace. I've just seen Sam Spinell's put a 1 minute 16.89 in. That is lightning pace for the fastest driver in the practice session so far. However, that's an indicator, I think, for the race conditions later on, perhaps, for everybody out there. But they'll look to get those 2 laps in. They'll probably need that first lap as a bit of a banker in to get the tyres up to temperature and then really go for it on the second one. Tom Roberts, by the way, fastest of the premiers in this session so far. In fact, let's try and bring you those times. There they are. So Spinell fastest, Roberts second. Matt Swain, unsurprisingly, up there as well, P3. Fastest of the intermediates as well, John Adey, 5th place overall. And Dan Cook as well, fastest of the rookies. So it's the usual names coming up the order. I think we've had a couple of drivers get in the lobby late. Yeah, 26 drivers with us tonight. Big thanks to everybody who's been attending the rounds. Really good attendance across the course of the season. And before we get going as well, I just want to take a quick moment to thank the admin team. Murray Adams, Sam Dimolo, Steve Hicks and Josh Mitchell have been doing some great work this year, this season, to keep this championship running to the high standards that we adhere to here for the Club 100 Sim Racing Championships. Very briefly, mate, before we go into qualifying, because we've got a bit of time to fill as the checkered flag is out for the end of the free practice session. It's a big week, isn't it, for Club 100? Not just this championship ending, but the start of the North Championships, and you're off to Silverstone at the weekend.
I am indeed very excited to be there alongside Jacob Harris in in fact, the first Club 100 broadcast of not only the season, but also at the new Silverstone facility. Be very exciting indeed. And as you say, really big week because the Cadet and Juniors North Championship will kick off, which is always some fantastic racing. So do tune in at the weekend it'll be on the Alpha Live channel for that. But also on the Sunday, we're going to see the debut of SP40 on our broadcast as well, which will be even more exciting to be a part of as well. So, as you say, big weekend. Hopefully the weather, like it has been in the iRacing, is going to be with us. We get to enjoy some karting at that new Silverstone venue.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, I can't be there. I'm out of the country again for a family holiday this time. So a bit of a break for myself from commentary purposes. But, right, listen in. Listen close. SP40 runners. See, I can say this because I'm not involved with the broadcast for this weekend. SP40 runners, you've got some broadcasting. What did I say at the awards? Get involved, share the stream out, let's collectively get them numbers up. No complaining that there's an SP40 not being covered, because it is being covered. So we want to see as many people tuning in for it as possible, if you get what I mean. If it gets the numbers, we might be able to twist some arms to get some more of it for other parts of the season. And it's all free as well. It's been really good working on some of the slipstream stuff with Alpha Live, but do not worry, all the Club 100 broadcasts planned for the year, more than ever, are all free to air every single moment where there's an Alpha Live camera trackside. You'll be able to view. Right, now I'll stop being edgy on the DDMM channel. Let's talk about some qualifying. Not a good start to the lap there for Tom Roberts. Looked wide there out of turn 1. Now, of course, if you get a 1x on one of these laps, that cancels the whole thing. So Tom Roberts may already be only down to one timed lap here for this qualifying. And yeah, I think he's just using this first, what was timed lap, but not anymore, to just get some heat in the tyres.
Yeah, and I think that's understandable in this session. The drivers probably know that they've got quite a few laps to play with as we dart away from the RT Media liveried car there. Have a look at this fabulous looking M4. 7.5 minutes left on the clock. There's quite a few laps that they can do. It's about an 80-second lap, as you say, Andrew. So drivers can probably afford to maybe push the boundary here or there on a few laps, find where they can eke out a little bit of more time if they haven't done so already in the practice running. And try and make an impact on what is going to be our last qualifying session of the season.
I've also got some shout-outs to do, so I'm going to click on this car here to Jack Mitchell. Now, let me just find the message that Jack sent to me and make sure that I get this right. So, hello to Jack's mother-in-law, Jude, and her cat, Lily. There it is on the screen. Jack's liveries have been very good this season. He's been so up to date that he's even had the Club 100 new logo on the car before I've had the graphics updated for Club 100 logos. We have got one of them in the top right corner sorted, but there we go. There's the shout-out. The obligatory shout-outs done for mother-in-law Jude and cat Lily, who have been watching Jack's racing. So if the car could be shown just a minute, if not already involved in some action. There you go, Jack. Done, and I'm sure Jack will be involved. Has got an outside chance, actually, of winning things in the rookie category. So we'll keep an eye on that. Times are coming in. Tom Saunders currently fastest. Jack Hare second. Daniel Cook third. What a start that is for Daniel Cook. A 1 minute 18.93. Looking at him now in this kind of Golf-esque liveried Lamborghini. Andy Alston fourth, John Adey fifth. Matt Swain goes fastest. So, already champion-elect. Just has to get through tonight, not get disqualified. I'm sure he won't. And that will absolutely rubber stamp this Club 100 iRacing Championship for the 2025-2026 season. And qualifyings haven't always gone Matt's way the last couple of rounds here, Reeve. So, good to see the champion on good form.
Yeah, absolutely. He's doing this effectively for pride at this point, I think. But as you mentioned, qualifying a little bit off, but he did impress you on the races to make up for that in the end. So top work from Matt in both divisions. He's just been on another level, and I know we discussed it on his victory in the previous event, but he has been very impressive indeed. And I'd like to, we saw Daniel Cook, shout out to him for giving us the V10 goodness. Great to see the lone Lambo back out on track again as Murray Adams, the driver we're on board with now. A little bit further down the order for now, but has just put in a fast lap, an 18.2 there on that last run. A nice run, and that is by 2/10 our fastest lap so far, so there's still time to be found out there, drivers.
Yeah, big lap there from Murray Adams in the Paragon Motorsport Mustang. How's his teammate Sam Spinell doing? Oh, Matt Swain's gone quicker again. Matt Swain does a 1 minute 17.7, so that'll be the 2 laps done for the number 98. But is the track getting quicker as this session goes on? It's lone qualifying, so everyone's in what I call their own little bubble universe. No traffic to worry about, but the track conditions that they are experiencing are the same. Here is Sam Spinell. So Sam Spinell over the line hasn't done a timed lap yet. We saw Sam do this at Zolder in the middle part of the season, just left his run a little bit later on. Now, that was a day where there'd been rain in the free practice session. The track was drying. That's why he did it then. Again, I think this is just going to be a lap where Sam's looking to get heat into the tyres. That was definitely not the optimum line for pace through the S's, which we'll talk more across the course of the evening about as a set of corners, stunning set of corners. But this could be Sam Spinell going for pole position in a moment. Let's try and find a driver who is on a lap. In fact, no, I don't think anybody is actually on a lap at this precise moment. So it's Swain from Adams. Sam Sanders has had a good qualifying, 3rd. Cam Watson 4th, Andy Alston 5th. Then a flurry of intermediates. John Adey, 2nd in the points in intermediates, is currently looking at class pole position, 6th overall. Ollie Walker's had a good run as well, P7. Daniel Cook, P8, fastest of the rookies. And then Matthew Shawnee there will be happy with that qualifying P9 at this moment. That's a good place to be for the intermediate points leader. The one we should note, though, Max Andrews down in 17th place. That is not good news at all. But Tom Roberts, now, I don't think Tom Roberts has got a lap in here, Reeve. So we've got our first double bit of drama of the night. Both in the battle for second place in the championship have not delivered on expectations in qualifying, as Sam Spinell now gets his first proper timed lap underway.
This is very exciting. I wonder if they've collaborated to try and up the ante a bit for us on the broadcast there, because as you say, both in that fight. When I mentioned earlier on, Roberts has got a bit of time to play with. That has certainly vanished now. Spinell has the upper hand in terms of drop scores. Earlier on in the season looked better for him in comparison to Roberts, but this makes things very interesting indeed. Only 2 minutes left on the clock. We're going to be down to the final few attempts for these drivers. Spinell, as you say, already on a fast one at the moment. Not sure of Roberts' status, but it will be Spinell that we look at first to come across the line. Let's see what he can do.
The problem for Roberts is you get 2 attempts at fast laps, and I think he's at least 1x'd both of them. So he's got no more bullets in his gun for this timed qualifying. 90 seconds to go. Sam Spinell over the line. This is his only shot at being at the top of the order, and he's got onto the front row. Sam Spinell delivers a front row right when he needed it, looking to claim the Clubman class title in this battle with Tom Saunders in the points. He's had a tremendous second half of the season, and he's on the front row at the moment for race number 1. His title rival is down in 11th. That is big, big news. Just to check as well, Sam has already done, so the first lap didn't count. It'll have been one where there was a 1x or something not quite right, that iRacing will have automatically deleted it. But the second timed lap has gone onto the front row of the grid. He's been under pressure, well, since, round 5, since he had a really tricky night at Zolder, Reeve, and he has continued to deliver through Portimao, through the last couple of rounds as well. That is a great start for his quest to be the Clubman champion here this evening.
It is indeed. That brings then pretty much to qualifying. Then Matt Swain impressing with that. I mean, I was really shocked to see what some would call a mid 117 quite early on there. 117.7. No one able to quite get close to that. So despite him already sitting on top, he certainly isn't giving up just yet, and we are going to get a good fight from him this evening. We're on board with Tom Holland here in the red Aston. Almost Spider-Man liveried, if you will. So I know we've made one reference to that so far this season. Here's your second, just as the timer hits 0.
Yeah, Tom won't get a lap in over the line there. We'll start towards the back of the grid, the driver from the Warwick University team. Right, let's have a look at it then. The grid for the first race. Matt Swain starts on pole position on a bit of a glory run tonight. Has already got the season wrapped up in terms of the championship. Sam Spinell starts alongside on the front row. It looks like it'll be a full formation lap for the drivers, so plenty of time for them to get heat into their materials. The other good news for Sam Spinell is the fact his good friend and teammate Murray Adams is directly behind him on the grid. Row 2 then is Adams on the pole side and then Sam Sanders on the other side. Cameron Watson and Andy Alston form up row number 3. Then it's the first of the intermediates. John Adey and Ollie Walker go from row number 4. Daniel Cook and Matthew Shawnee complete the top 10. If both of those drivers hold themselves there, that could be it in terms of the championship campaigns in their respective categories. Both of them, Cook and Shawnee, have got a good advantage in the respectively the rookie and the intermediate categories. We'll try and keep an eye on that as well as we can. It's going to be a very busy night in terms of the mathematics. Row number 6, Tom Saunders needs a good start in this one. He can see his nearest rival in the Clubman title picture on the front row. He starts from row 6, is joined by Tim Ellis, who's been every single round so far this year, so has got his full complement already of 75 bonus points. Another couple of clubmans on row 7. It's Jack Eyre and Lawrence Vines. Ronald Grossman has work to do alongside Sam Dimolo starting from row number 8. Jack Mitchell Lowe maybe on the back foot now with how Daniel Cook's done in terms of qualifying for the rookie title, but still claims second place and has got Max Andrews for company on that 9th row of the grid. Craig Brown and Eric Mignon completes the top 20. James Fremont and David Whitehouse on row 11. Great work again from James, who's been doing all the photos, the ones for the thumbnails and all of that business. That's been him this season. David as well should note great that David's moving in the right direction. If you've been looking at a lot of the social media on Alpha Live recently, David's a big part of the effort there to do all those cool clips of cool moments from the early part of this year for Alpha Live. And then the last few drivers, Matt Hale and Steve Hicks go from row 12. And then we should see on row 13, there they are, Tom Roberts and Tom Holland at the back of the grid. That is how your grid was meant to line up. We have already got our second piece of drama, Reeve Taylor. I am only seeing 25 runners on the grid. Matthew Shawnee is in pit lane, so will not take the start from the top 10. This could just be a bit of a conservative strategy from Matthew Shawnee. Take yourself out of the mid-pack, take yourself out of trouble on lap 1. I hope it is, because if it's another example of what we saw earlier in the season for Matthew, where I think he was having some connection issues, this could be him in big bother already and on the back foot in the title race for the intermediate class.
Yeah, hopefully he's able to get any issues that he is experiencing sorted. I think we may have just seen him drop off, unfortunately, so hopefully we can at least see him on track at some point this evening. Matt Swain leading the pack there. Bit of a contrast down to Tom class at the back end there with Tom Roberts, who usually you'd see kind of around about up here, but qualifying really not going his way. In fact, here he is.
I should just I think Tom Holland's had a problem as well. What has happened here is we're in the chase cam. Let's get us out of that one for the next replay. Just coming out of the S's, and okay, I think he's got some form of problem, because he's not crashed as has been described by by the information here. That's just oh no, something's not quite working. Let's get off the circuit and get it sorted before we go for. Sorry, get off chase cameras. There we go. That's better for us. Right, race about to begin then. Here we go for round number 10 of the Club 100 iRacing Championship. Last race night of the season that's taken us through the autumn, through the winter and into this early spring here at Road Atlanta. Green flag in the air. We are racing once again in the GT3s. Good start for Matt Swain. Sam Spinell slots into P2 immediately behind him and has got his rear gunner of Murray Adams in the clubman battle for good company there in third. Further back in the field, Sam Sanders running in fourth place. Great start for Andy Alston as well, looking to move himself up the championship tally and maybe take some iRacing dollars at the end of this season. Is running in sixth. Good start for Ollie Walker as well. So up to seventh place is your early leader in intermediate. Daniel Cook has held nicely also in 11th place right now. That would be more than good enough for trying to take the title in the rookie class. I think Craig Brown has had a problem, has fallen down the order in the early stages, but a pretty clean one at the front there, Reeve. And it's the usual sight of Matt Swain in the lead of this one.
It is indeed, but he is certainly under pressure, isn't he? That's a great start there for Ollie Walker. Oh, sorry, that's not Ollie Walker. Looks like my timing system's completely messed up. Yes. It's been quite good for most of the season, and we head into the final round as we now get ready to start complete the first lap of this one. Matt Swain under pressure still, and in fact I think you have to go back down to, is that fifth to actually see Ollie Walker there. Into turn one we go.
Yeah,
that's Andy Alston.
Ollie Walker currently running P7 ahead of the next intermediate driver, which is John Adey. Here they go down through the S's. I love these sequences of corners. Very difficult to overtake in, but you can gain a lot of time. You can put a rival under pressure out of this corner. It's bumpy, you've got the curbs that can catch drivers out, but now you run down towards another overtaking opportunity like turn one. Quite quick on entry, but you can get down the inside through the first of these double right-handers. But this is when you then really want to make progress. Out of turn number 8 on this long run now, flat through turn number 9, getting ready for that chicane. Ollie Walker's got a heck of a run here and could be going for 6th place. It's not a factor in the intermediate championship. It's had a bit of a rough season in the first half, so it's too many points behind. But here goes Walker down the inside, trying to find a way through past Watson. That's nicely done by Ollie Walker, who can now run in some clean air. He's got about 1.3 seconds to catch up to Andy Alston there in 5th. Good racing from both drivers in that case. Good to see for Walker, because he has had some problems earlier on in the season.
Yeah, absolutely. As you mentioned, Andrew, he set himself up perfectly on that run through turn 7 and turn 8 there. You want to carry that momentum because you're climbing up the hill, and Walker, great start. There's that Daniel Cook having a bit of an issue in the Lambo there, gets back on track, just about finds room for the car to fit into, but has lost a few places there. I mean, he's not pointing in the wrong direction, so he hasn't lost all that much. He just needs to get into a bit of a rhythm once more.
Has lost the lead in the rookies though. Let's have a look at how it happened then. It was back at turn 1 on what? Now is this going to give us a bit of a Lambo? Oh no, there was a car on his inside. I think that was Ronald Grossman having a look into turn 1. So that's how Cook found himself out wide, loses a few positions, but as you say, Reeve, doesn't fall completely out of the race. There he is now, directly behind the new leader in the rookie category, Jack Mitchell-Lowe. The reason why I was going that far further back in the field is the driver directly ahead. There is Max Andrews, currently 13th. Well, if you'd offered him that at the start of the night, he'd have not been very pleased. But the crucial thing in the fight for 2nd place in the standings is that his closest rival, Tom Roberts, is down in 18th. We've got more drama though. What has happened to Tom Saunders? Tom Saunders, the other half of the equation in the clubman category, is in pit lane. Is this strategic? It could be strategic actually, because of course everyone's got to make a pit stop across the course of these races. 35 minutes on fuel, yeah, that's doable on a single tank. So hopefully this is just strategic from Tom Saunders to get out of all of that traffic, Reeve, get in some clean air, because at the moment this is looking a really, really tall order for the 1110 Aston Martin to win this battle for second place in the championship, with Sam Spinell up there in second on the road.
That is a particularly brave move, as you say. I think back to our first bit of GT3 running with or at least my first commentated round with at the Nürburgring, where it was the Beamers and the Astons that could afford to go really long on those stints. They seem to do really well on the fuel load. Cars I'm looking at here with their big fire-breathing V8, a little bit less so, but if he can make that strategy work, then we could be on for a bit of a blinder here. We've on board though with Sam Spinell. Actually now showing as the driver in second on my timing system, which is great, because for a little while Ollie Walker was leading the race, according to myself. But yeah, Spinell has done a good job here of just keeping up with Matt Swain, just laying in waiting, keeping that pressure on, isn't going for any brave lunge or anything like that. They don't need to. Murray Adams and Sam Tanders are having a growing battle behind. But we might see something going on between those two drivers in just a minute. Tom Roberts dropping into the pits, and he is going early on the fuel in that big fire-breathing V8. Immediately proved me wrong. Thanks, Tom. So we'll just have to see what we're going to have in terms of pit strategy now, because already drivers are making that call early on.
So this does look strategic then, that the top, or the drivers that you would expect to be a little bit further up the order, who have not had a good qualifying, you can overtake round this circuit, but again, particularly through the S's, you can lose a lot of time. You can lose a lot of time out of the turn 10 chicane and down through 11 and 12. So yeah, I think this is purely strategic from Tom Roberts. Qualifying has not gone his way. Remember, it's a two-part race night, folks. 120 points available for winning one of these 40-minute races. Still a 240 possible score for the night. And remember, the grid for race 2 is set by the finishing positions of race number 1. So this well could be Tom Roberts just playing a bit of a long game, perhaps, in damage limitation mode to look to get himself further up the order. It's definitely not the optimum strategy, is it, Reeve? Because you're now out of the faster running train in a slipstream, and you're going to be heavier for longer through the race as well. You're never going to have the car in low fuel status, as it were, but we'll see how it works for Tom Roberts. The crucial thing is he's got out ahead of Tom Saunders by about 3 seconds, so that's a good piece of news at least.
It is indeed. He's got out ahead and he's in some clear running now. He can afford to just get into a rhythm, try and get some fast laps in, whilst all the other pit stops begin to take place and all the other commotions happening at the top end of the pack. He might be able to find a bit of a time advantage here. We'll just have to see. On board though with Grossman, who is in a bit of a battle with the aforementioned Max Andrews and Tim Ellis in the only McLaren that we've got on track this evening. This is a great little battle going on here. Trio squabbling for P10 to get into that to break into that top 10 barrier. Two Prems versus a Clubman. So far it's been a night for the Clubmans there. Well defended by Tim Ellis though. Just made that McLaren about as big as he could and didn't give an opportunity for an overtake. Mitchell Lowe's on the inside heading through the next couple of corners. In fact, the last couple of corners on the lap, but hang it round the outside. That's a great turn of pace. There, Max Andrews still in this battling trio. Grossman wins out in the end. Ellis actually loses out heading down that start-finish straight, as we can see Jack Mitchell now side by side with Jack Eyre. This is getting very close. Fantastic stuff through the S's.
Side by side through the S's. We said it was difficult to race side by side through this part of the course, but they've just about made it work. Great work then from Jack Eyre, who has had a moment. We'll have a look at that in a short while. He's had another moment there coming out of the S's. Daniel Cook and Sam Dimolo not too far behind as well. And should note as well, there's something I forgot to do. Oh dear, I'm in trouble now. The broadcast tonight is brought to you, sponsored by Overdrive. We'll show their logo and have a little bit of a chat about them later on in the show. But if you want your car parts, head over to www.overdrivecarshop.com to get your bits that you need to go even faster in real life races. More on them later. Let's have a look then at what happened with Jack Eyre. This was down into the chicane, was it? This was with Tim Ellis, and yeah, just having to take to the grass there and losing out. So that was before that battle with Ellis, Grossman and Andrews. Murray Adams has been off the road as well. This was that moment. He's just going to run a little bit wide out of the chicane rather. Not too much dramas there for the driver currently in third place. So we're already 10 minutes through this one. Matt Swain is your race leader, on board with him now. Sam Spinell P2 right now, and that's perfectly fine. For the clubman situation, Spinell running there P2 is bob on. Doesn't need to necessarily win this race. The crucial thing right now is of course his title rival is further down the order. Where is Tom Saunders, by the way? 24th at the moment, has already stopped. We saw that earlier. But these two running a good pace at the front of the field. Probably quite happy at the moment here, Reeve, to work together and keep pulling away from a change in third place battle. Sam Sanders is now running in third ahead of Murray Adams.
Yeah, they are indeed quite a ways in front. They just look so calm. They look like having a great time out in what is now the Sunshine at Road Atlanta, really. They're just plodding along, as you say, working together, having a great time. Sam Sanders then currently in third, the leading BMW out of the pack. I would like to have a brief glance further down the order, though, at Stevie Hicks, who started this one in 24, and actually made comments in the paddock chat in his Merc. Great to see one of the Mercs out on track as well, by saying the team radio, Jeff, said I should come fourth. Jeff is wrong. That's verbatim what he said. But so far, Steve, you've made 9 places. You're in the mix here against Daniel Cook and Jack Mitchell-Lowe, so don't count Steve Hicks out, I think, for a really good result here, because he's going rather well in that AMG GT.
I wonder if that's crew chief Jeff, easier for me to say looking at iRACINGs, because I think Steve's is the 4th highest in this field. But we all know that races in iRacing are not determined by iRating. iRating is just a number. It's out on track that things are decided. Steve Hicks, though, just running behind Daniel Cook. That is a change in the in who's leading in rookie. So Daniel Cook back to the front of that subclass. Jack Mitchell-Lowe running in 16th place. Just behind them, David Whitehouse in the Mind charity liveried Ferrari, currently 17th and running third within the intermediates. Should note as well that Matthew Shawnee is running in this race, which is good news because Cook off the road again. Now that's a long way off and a touch and into the wall. Now is this drama? It very much is drama for the rookie points leader, who's pulled out in front of Matt Hale. That's not a good rejoin from Daniel Cook, so that may be something that the stewards look at. And Daniel Cook now jumps to the pits. Oh dear, this has all gone wrong. Let's see how this started, because I think this was from turn 1. Well, that's from further back. We'll have to go even further back to see what actually happened here with Daniel Cook. So this is down to the SS, and the back end stepped out. The back end's gone full Lambo there. At first, I thought, and then he's kicked over a bump. There's a bump in the grass there, Reeve, that he's gone over the top of. It. First, he had that one under control, was heading back to track in a right manner, has then hit the wall after the bump. That's broken the rear right. He's had to tow to the pits now. Oh dear, you'd never like to see this for a championship leader, but this is now going to open the door potentially for Jack Mitchell-Lowe, who currently running 14th.
It does indeed. What a shame for Cook there, as you say. That blurry V10 lump just went around like a pendulum, didn't it? It looked like it just all of a sudden just became completely away up from underneath him there, and a tricky part of the track to try and rejoin as well, obviously, where the S's begin, it gets very narrow, it becomes very undulating, and I think he did the right thing in the end there and just removed himself from the situation just to try and at least see what he can do further on to the weekend. But as you say, it does open things up quite nicely now. Jack Mitchell currently 14th on the road. Eric Mignon is nearest challenge, at least according to my timing system at the moment. And should be pretty set to do well here. Things could swing into the favour of the Aston Martin.
Could do indeed. Yeah, it is Eric Mignon currently running in 17th place in this one. Apologies for the bird that keeps appearing on the screen. It's Windows doing strange things. I have just been doing some maths though, in terms of what's happening now in terms of these championship stakes. Cook will still score championship points at least. Let's say he scores points for 26th place right now, although he's just taken 25th place off of Tom Holland. So I think already that he's back to the pits, get the fast repair done, do what will now be the mandatory pit stop, served, and back out on circuit. That's going to give him around 30 points. Yeah, 30 points in the championship for the race night. Just trying to remind myself what Daniel's trying to get rid of at this stage of the season. So he's trying to get rid of a 64. A 64-point score is his next drop target. So he could still do that with this one. Jack Mitchell-Lowe is effectively racing without drops because he didn't do the first 2 rounds of the season. So at the moment he'd be scoring 66. So yeah, the door's going to be open here. But Reeve at the moment, Matt Swain doing nicely at the front of the field.
Yeah, business as usual at the top end of the pack at this point now. 16 minutes in to this one. Now we see Spinell and Swain within a car length. It's expanded and contracted, that gap between the two at this point. You do get the thing that maybe Spinell is now thinking, right, we've had our fun, we've built up a gap, now's the chance to go for a bit of a move. They're going to struggle through the S's. It can be done, as we say, but you know, maybe not at the clearest place. I think that run through turn 7 and turn 8, trying to carry that momentum as we now run through the right-hander, is going to be Spinell's best chance to try and find a way on past. He will benefit from a bit of a slipstream from the Mustang up in front. It's 2 Voodoo 5-litre V8s fighting against each other down towards turn 9, turn 10, and the last couple of corners as well. And they're looking pretty evenly matched, as I say. Spinell has the advantage of the slipstream, but is going to lose out, I think, a little bit in terms of grip through the corners here, although he's getting closer into that braking zone as we now run it down towards the very end of the lap. You drop all the way down. The elevation you built up down the back straight disappears in the blink of an eye. Can upset the car if you're not careful enough. And now here we go. It's a bit less of a teamwork, I'd say, and now it becomes a proper battling duo. We run through the first couple of corners into the S's, and we go riding over the curbs beautifully. And to add some intrigue as well, your back markers are on the scene as well. We've waited 18 minutes in this one to get this battle for the lead, and with a short lap and with some decent numbers, so thank you drivers for still turning up late on in the season, we're going to get back markers. So Spinell and Swain are going to have to try and fight for it with a bit of blue flag action in the mix as well. We head back towards the back straight once again, and well, there's no effective change from that previous lap. They're just doing a very nice job of keeping each other in check. 22 minutes left on our clock, and their pace still looking really good, I must say. We're in the 117s, which is good given what qualifying was looking like, and they're still staying in that rhythm. They're still pushing on. Spinell has gone purple on that last lap by the looks of things, although it may have been counted as a 1x potentially. But as I say, Swain, Spinell, I think we can tune into this battle at any point of the race this evening, and we're going to be in for an interesting one.
Can indeed. I'm back. Bowie Adams spin off circuit. Let's have a look at what happened here. This was down at the turn 10 chicane. Is it a little run wide out of that chicane? Yes, it was. But nothing more dramatic than that. Craig Brown's had an issue as well at the same corner in his Mustang. Well, I think that was a little bit of a corner cut on the corner entry and then a bit wide on exit. But again, nothing more dramatic than that. Matthew Shawnee, as mentioned, is running. Obviously trying to push on here. This was through turn number 1 for Matthew Shawnee, who at the moment is up in P22. Oh, just catches the curb there on driver's left. Is able to rejoin without too much dramas. But he's trying to push on for every single point that he can get now. Leaders hitting traffic. Now, this was talked about in driver's briefing that we reckoned it was going to happen. It is not the longest circuit that we visit across the course of the season. But the right thing's being done there. It's Eric Mignon who's just going down 1 lap. I think Eric has pitted though. That's why he's a little bit further back right now. but that's how we want to see it done. We had a bit of drama in the latter stages at Bathurst. Matt Swain on his way. Where is our closest battle that's involving one of our championship protagonists? And obviously, apart from this one, of course, where Sam Spinell is in a nice, comfortable position right now. John Adey, we should talk about. At the moment, John in 8th place. And I think we'll be quite happy with this. Just lapping around at the moment, Reeve with Ollie Walker in 6th and Cam Watson 7th. But right now, at least securing 2nd place in the championship. John sent me a very lovely message earlier in the week and said he's really enjoyed this season. And just to add to that, he suffered a broken leg, so hasn't been doing any real-life racing recently, and I don't think he's going to be doing so for a while longer yet as he makes his recovery. So really good for him that he's been able to take part in this one and still keep the racing bug bitten, as it were.
Yeah, that's a little bit of positive news in that scenario. I hope you do continue to get better, John, in all of that. And actually, I did have a question for you, Andrew.
Go for it.
Before you dipped away. You mentioned something, a bird popped up on your screen, and it's inspired by the comments on the broadcast, so hello to all of you watching along. What's that Motorsport Magpie?
It may have been Motorsport Magpie. I don't know. It's whatever Windows has chosen for today.
Well, just because, as a Scouser, when you say that, I thought something else.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Do you know what it is? It's because I'm trying to get spreadsheets in the background to operate, and I've only got 2. I need more screens. I need more screens to operate more things at once. But no, just trying to keep an eye on how things are looking in terms of these points. Right now, yeah, John Adey might take about 40 points out of the gap in this one. So, well, I fear Matthew Shawnee. I reckon it's the commentary curse again that I talked about. Matthew Shawnee, good grid position, just needs to roll round and pick up, some decent points in this one, and it should be done. And then I think his connection then went bye-bye. As I say, he's started to come back through the field now. You're not alone, Matthew. We've already had this year 2 absolute corkers / stinkers, depending on which way you look. Ben Ballou got hit at the PF Icebreaker Cup, drove the wheels off of it, and then Charlie Clough had it a couple of weeks ago in Valencia. Oh, he just needs to get top 5 to be on pole for tomorrow, and then his car broke down. Anyway, moving on from the commentary curse, here are your race leaders. Matt Swain leads from Sam Spinell. What we can be certain of, though, folks... No. I'm not even going to say it. I'm not even going to say it.
I will divert from whatever curse you're about to spill upon all of our drivers then.
If anyone who's been watching the DDMM comms so far this year, they will know we've not had a lot of good luck with race meetings getting through to their scheduled conclusion. So, yeah, I'm not going to go any further than that. We've had an overtake out there. Max Andrews, we noted, well, we've had an overtake because someone's in the pits, and it's David Whitehouse. But that's promoted, whilst I just had to step away for a moment, Max Andrews has been in the pits for his service.
Well, this is something that I want to discuss, is that we've had quite the difference between drivers who went for the early pit stop. No one kind of went for, I'll tell you what, 20 minutes ago, I'll chuck it in. Yep. It seems to be people that are either going really early or we're probably trying to leave it to the last minute. Very interesting.
Well, the leaving it long is the optimal, if there were no other cars on track, the leaving it long is the optimal strategy, because the car is lighter for longer. Imagine you've got a full tank at the race start, you run it down to fumes, and then it's a splash and dash to get you through to the end. If you're running early on, yes, it gets you out of the traffic and some of the field spread perhaps in that main pack, but you never really, until you get right to the end of the race, you only have one stage of the race where the car is pretty much empty on fuel, whereas running long, you get that twice. Craig Brown is in the pits. I think Tom Holland has had some problems as well. so is potentially not in the running for this one anymore. Fairly calm and quiet race so far. Matt Swain just starting to edge away though from Sam Spinell. It's the first time we've really seen what you would say is a gap between the two of them. Half a second is that gap and growing. Is this a bit of maybe tyre preservation for Sam Spinell? Because it could be quite a hard track on tyres, this one, Road Atlanta, through those S's. Maybe just wanted to give himself a bit of space and cool the tyres back down.
Yeah, very, very possibly. I mean, you know, at certain points when he had to dip away, he was getting quite close indeed. We thought that the overtake might be on, but it just looked to be the case that he's been sat for back a little while. Obviously, if you're losing a little bit of downforce as a result, the tyres might scrub a bit more. Obviously, you're on the attack, you're pushing the car potentially to try and find a way past. As you say, Andrew, the tyres might just need a little bit of looking after in the final stages to try and bring them back into a window where they got good life for one last charge late on in the race. And speaking of on a charge, Steve Hicks, not going to get fourth apparently, but he's very much on course for a good result here. Started 24th, now up to 12th, has made up 12 places and is pressuring one of our Porsches this evening. Lawrence Vine currently in 11th.
Yeah, Lawrence Vines, he's had a really good season in that Vines Express Porsche. It's the Vines Express Mazda Cup when we're racing in the Mazdas. Looking to potentially break into the top 10 tonight in this one. I do think there have been some dramas though for Tim Ellis. Tim Ellis is in the pits and showing as having a black flag on our graphics. Now, apologies folks, I'm not quite sure what the black flag is for, but what I can tell you is, well, I don't think he's had many off track, so I wonder if this is some form of pit lane infringement, as everybody's diving in at the moment for some service. There are your race leaders into their respective boxes right next to one another as well. Well, whatever's happened to Tim Ellis, that's a real shame because he was running quite high up the order in the top half, but that was a long pit stop. Off go the leaders once again, and Matt Swain has got the jump on Sam Spinell. Now, the interesting thing for me here, Reeve, not unexpected that they're all pitting around 25, 26 minutes, 27 minutes into this race. But when we're talking about, well, how long can those who went in early go, that would indicate that those drivers who pitted in really early, talking here Tom Roberts, we're talking Tom Saunders, if those guys have gone to the end of their fuel, they were short by 13 minutes. If we're going the other way, the two Toms didn't get anywhere near the 13th minute of this race before they pitted, so potentially may they have to pit again?
It's certainly possible, and this maybe lays favour to the pitting later on in the race, even if you're dealing with some other traffic, is that think of the time lost in the fuel saving as well, because for that extra bit of confidence, you're going to want to begin to lift and coast through some of those corner entries to just try and stymie the probably exorbitant fuel consumption of particularly the Mustang, to try and I mean, just look at the rear wing though. I mean, all these cars got a big rear wing, but at least the BMW that's on our screens at the moment has a relatively small 3-litre twin turbo. These Mustangs are gonna be drinking, as Sam certainly will be, changing positions for the lead with himself and Swain. This has been brewing for a little while. It did back off, and as you say, Andrew, maybe just getting the tyre into a more comfortable window for another late attack. Here we are now looking at that overtake, and it was done on the run through turn 11 and turn 12. Set himself up nicely with a great run off the back straight there, carries that momentum on through, seals the move as they start the next lap.
That's a mega move. That is absolutely superb from Sam Spinell, and we've got a race on here, folks. Now, of course, Sam Spinell needs these points in terms of his championship bid for the Clubman class. Matt Swain doesn't. He's already got his title secured, but he will not like having been overtaken on that last lap, side by side again through the turn 10 chicane. Good respectful racing between the two Mustangs. Spinell still on the inside line. That may compromise him towards turn 1. Here comes Matt Swain again. This is a proper duel here in Georgia. Steve Hicks has had a problem. I think he's been the latest. Maybe it might be speeding on the entry to pit lane, perhaps, for a couple of drivers out there, but we'll worry about that later, because Sam Spinell, well, if he's going to win this, he wants to win it in style. Say in terms of the championship, was still looking good in second place, but this has been the way that Spinell has raced since kind of the low point of the season at the halfway stage. He's been on the attack all the way, firm racing, clean racing. Right now, could be on course for another 120 championship points.
I imagine he'll be wondering, what if that kind of midpoint of the season had gone any different? Can't look back at that now, though. And I think, as you say, Sam wants to win this in style. He already has won it in plenty of style, but would like to, I think, a memorable finish this season, potentially, as we have Whitehouse in the pits there in the 2.96, joined by... in fact, no, it's not. Was this a replay when I watched it?
Yeah, replay. Just trying to see what happened with David Whitehouse, because he was showing us having damage. Oh, now I think what's happened, he's come out of the S's and hit the wall. Perhaps we'll have another look at it. This is another angle. Yeah, gets out wide. Oh yeah, hits the wall hard, and that's done the toe link on the rear right. So unfortunately for David Whitehouse, he is in the pits and out of contention in this one at the moment. So that's 3 that are wounded right now. That's good news though for Daniel Cook, because Cook is now up to P23, scoring a few more championship points, at least in the context of the round tonight. Remember, we're at that stage where drop scores are in play. So when we talk about 120 points for a race win, that's 120 points for tonight. Sam Spinell, from my records, is looking to get rid of a 76-point score. So with this result, would automatically be hoiking that 76 into the bin. So quick maths here. What would that be? That would be a tally of a 44-point gain over his currently in play but about to be dropped score, and then it would leave him for the second part of tonight to basically just be free scoring for whatever position he can finish in, which could well still be first place. I think what's interesting as well is looking at the future of this championship, and we'll go into planning stage. We'll look to run another one of these from the autumn of 2026. Are we getting a little preview for next year, where Sam Spinell will very likely become a Premier? In fact, he will become a Premier if he wins the Clubman Championship. Could this be the scene that we're talking about in the 2026-2027 season of the CLUB100 iRACING Championship? These 2 drivers going to war.
Would certainly welcome that. I think looking at the rest of the field that we have here as well, I think there's going to be some really interesting driver developments. We're going to be on for plenty of battles throughout the field, as we've already have enjoyed so far this year. And here is one of those, our rookie Jack Mitchell-Lowe against Matthew Shawnee. Had some issues, obviously, getting started in this one. Hopefully his connection issues alleviated for the rest of the evening, and currently heads through the S's with the rookie Aston Martin.
We say connection issues, but I think it could still have just been Matthew taking a conservative approach to the race night and going, do you know what, okay, yeah, no, I've got the pace, I've got a top 10 qualifying, but a top 10 qualifying is no good if you then have an incident and get wiped out through the first sector of lap number 1. Start from the back and then, 40-minute race, work your way back through the order. We don't know, purely speculating on that one, but this is a good scrap between Jack Mitchell-Lowe and Matthew Shawnee. Shawnee looking around the outside. Oh, I was going to say, that would be a really brave one from Matthew if he tried to run around the outside of the first part of the turn 10 chicane. Downhill once again. Jack Mitchell-Lowe slightly driving on his mirrors right now, and nearly side by side again as they start another lap. Max Andrews is closing in as well in the bright red Mustang behind, really touching through turn 1 there. Mitchell-Lowe and Shawnee, and Andrews is going to be right upon them now, but is now going to have to wait. Very tricky to get side by side safely and cleanly through this part of the circuit. We have seen it tonight as we're going to have to cut back to the race leaders because it's kicking off again between Spinell and Swain side by side as they run to complete the end of another lap. What a story this is so far, and they're still side by side. So I wonder if the back marker would come into play there. Swain trying to run it around the outside through turn one. This is brilliant stuff. We've had fantastic racing in this championship all season, and these two are serving it up on the plate again, or nearly off the circuit. There is Matt Swain. Sam Spinell doing his level best to hold on to the lead of this sim race. Out of the S's once again. We've still got another 5.5 minutes of this, Reeve. As let's try and find, how did Swain initially get through? No, I don't think it was the back marker coming into play. It was just a straight draft alongside towards the turn 10 chicane. Here they are through that part of the circuit once again. My oh my. This is everything I hoped for, Reeve, when we picked this one for the championship finale. Brilliant race circuit, even more brilliant racing.
Yeah, what an absolute treat. What I really enjoyed about that one is the drivers are clearly not only confident in their own abilities, they're quite confident in each other's abilities to race fairly, to race cleanly, to put on a really good show and have a great time out there on track as well. We head round the final corner once again. Could we see a repeat? I think Swain's a little bit too far back to benefit from any major slipstream here, but we'll see what happens as we run through those S's once again. Spinell leads the charge for another lap, but with 4 minutes to go, Andrew, I mean, we saw it at our previous round. Things can certainly heat up in the final few minutes of racing. Just look back at VIR. Let's see if we get the same at Road Atlanta.
Yeah, and then look back at Bathurst as well in race number 2 when it got quite tight at the end. Change for 15th place. Max Andrews is through past Matthew Shawnee. Where is Tom Roberts in all of this as well? We've not talked about Tom for a bit. Well, he's up in P4. So I tell you what, that is a really good bit of work from Tom Roberts. He's quietly got on with things. Now there's still a question of can he make it through to the end of the race. Remember, he pitted at the end of lap number 4. Most people have pitted on lap 19, 20, 21. So I'll be honest, folks, I'm not quite sure how Tom's doing this right now. As have we got another change for the lead? Oh, side by side once again through turn 10. Spinell holding to the inside. These two just will not calm down, will they? Through the final turn once again. Matt Swain already got the championship, but he wants to prove that once again he is the best driver in this field. Spinell covers off the entry into turn 1. Brilliant defence from the Belgian driver. Up again, over and into the S's. Sorry for everybody else in this race, but oh, big wobble for Matt Swain, and that maybe has done. Matt Swain has done incredibly well there to keep that car under control, but that was a huge moment through the S's, right on the edge of adhesion. For a moment there, I thought Swain was going to the wall. We have seen it, it's similar to what we saw from Matt Swain when he had some issues at Portimao. But that is the level to which these two boys are racing here tonight, Reeve. I can't quite believe what I've just seen there and how that Mustang is not in a wall right now. But more crucially for Sam Spinell, that could be the moment that gives him just a few more points and the race win here in race 1.
Yeah, my oh my, that was a close one. Very top plaudits to Swain there for keeping hold of it. Maybe a little bit of driver fatigue creeping in, but I wouldn't be too shocked as well if it's just the tyres.
Yeah,
now finally providing that. Yeah, we've been going for a while now here at 11 tenths pretty much, trying to fight and claw back for a race lead. Speaking of fighting and clawing back, though, somehow the Mustang that's running on air, I wonder if Tom's borrowed his Mazda's MX-5's engine and plonked it into his Mustang to make sure it can complete the lap on that tank of fuel. He's doing very well to still be running around in 4th at the moment.
Indeed. Just to note, it would be 99 points for Tom Roberts with this 4th place finish on the race night. For Andrews, 14th place would convert through to a score of 66. And again, that wouldn't, well, actually no, that would improve things a little bit for Tom Roberts close the gap slightly. It would all come down to race number 2 for who's going to take second place in the championship. Can Max Andrews, and this is one of the things with this championship where it's a bit different to others perhaps. You've got to be able to run in both formats, and Max has been very good, of course, on his debut season. We shouldn't forget that. But if there has been a chink in the armour, it's been these GT3s. It's not quite suited him as much as perhaps the MX-5, where he's been very good competing for race victories. In the GT3s, you know, he's always been probably around in the top 6, but not the top 3, and that's something that Tom Roberts so far this season has been able to do, albeit tonight obviously this qualifying has set him back a bit, and it's a bit far back from challenging Sam Sanders in this particular race. Answer to the question, could Tom Saunders make it to the end of the race without another stop? The answer, no. I'm hearing in the comments that he possibly had damage early on in the race, and that's why he was in to get the fast repair used, but I think this may well be, realistically, yeah, it's a very, very short fuel stop just to get through to the end of this race. I think that is going to be it for the realistic hopes of the championship. Meanwhile, we are on the last lap. Oh, there's near contact. In fact, did they touch through? They nearly touch again. Out of the final chicane, down towards the last corner. This is for the race win here in race number 1. They're going to sweep round this right-hander. Who's going to take this one? Spinale gets it. Spinale takes it by half a tenth. Just when you think this championship could not shock you any more than it's previously done, we see a 40-minute race decided by half a tenth of a second. Let's have another look at that again. This was down towards the turn 10 chicane. Swain makes the move to the inside. Oh, there's a nudge there. There's a little bit of a touch. And I think there may have been a bit of net code on the exit as well. And then they're side by side, down through the last corner. And there it is, over the line. Half a tenth of a second. And that's big for Sam, because not only does it give him pole position for the next race, that's worth an extra 9 championship points, which, considering he was 7 points behind his closest rival in the Clubman standings before this race, that means he's now going to be class championship leader.
My oh my, what a finish. The last laps of these races have been impossible to keep up with just how exciting they are. It looks like Sanders brings home P3 as well. Tom Roberts somehow completes the race in P4 in the end. That's a remarkable finish there. So if you've got any hypermiling runs planned, Tom Roberts seems to be your man. And then Murray Adams completes your top 5.
Right, let's have a race results before we go any further. I've pressed the buttons in the wrong order. There we go. They'll have another go at that one. Before we have an advert, and then we have a bit of a break. Sam Spinell takes the race win by, again, half a tenth of a second. Sam Sanders a really good third there, ahead of a recovery drive from Tom Roberts in 4th. Murray Adams, Andy Alston there on the race podium for Clubman, 5th and 6th. Cam Watson 7th. John Adey takes the win. That could be an important result as well. John Adey first of the intermediates. Ollie Walker is having I'd say I just need to be more brash with drivers when I run into them. I said to Ollie at Bucknell Park, stop crashing! And he stopped crashing and got a P9. Jack Eyre P10, Lawrence Vines 11th, Sam Dimlow 12th, Jack Mitchell Lowe top of the rookies 13th. We'll see how that's changing things in the stakes for rookie. Max Andrews a disappointing 14th. He's on the back foot a little bit now in the quest for second place in the championship. Matthew Shawnee a solid 15th place. I think that'll be good for his intermediate title. We'll do the maths in a minute. Grossman 16th, Tom Saunders 17th. I think that's all she's going to write in the quest with trying to win Clubman, because as you see, his title rival Sam Spinell top of the order. Eric Mignon a solid result there again at P18. Second half of the field, Steve Hicks had a penalty, dropped to 19th, was ahead of James Fremont. Matt Hale, Tim Ellis also had a penalty. Daniel Cook will pick up points at 23rd place, which still could be quite useful. We'll start from that position as well for race number 2. David Whitehouse, Craig Brown and Tom Holland were all retirements. Right. Well, after all of that, now we'll have a little bit of a break. We've got a warm-up that's 10 minutes long, just to give people a bit of a breather. But we're not quite going to go to the highlights and the show reels just yet, because today's broadcast is sponsored by overdrivekartshop.com, not .co.uk, .com. Your go-to online store for high-quality karting parts at proper competitive prices. Whether you're after performance sprockets to maximise straight-line speed, or durable brake pads you can trust with when it matters most, Overdrive has you covered. Everything is designed to be reliable, affordable and race-ready. Plus, with fast UK shipping and new products dropping regularly, it's quickly becoming a favourite in karting paddocks up and down the country. Check out overdrivekartshop.com and let's get back to the track, get you racing well. That's our sponsor for tonight's broadcast. Big thanks to overdrivekartshop.com. Right, we'll take a break there after race number 1. Race 2 coming up in about 8 minutes' time.
But Andrew Mather, it's your first Kart Masters, so please bring them to the start.
15 minutes plus 1 lap are underway for the Grand Prix in Minimax 2025. It's a very good start for Emerson McAndrew. One of the SFRs is taking to the grass in the early stages, but apart from that, it looks pretty good. Finding the grip. 3-4 corners to go. What a win this is going to be for George Edgar. George Edgar wins gold. Gold for the United Kingdom. What a drive. Yes, it's not done yet, is Daniel Ferguson. He could have 14 positions, and here he goes down the inside on Ozzie Gibson. Ozzie Gibson tries to fight it around the outside, but nothing is stopping Daniel Ferguson in this race, particularly through turns 3 and 4 as Phillips goes for the lead. Phillips down the inside, and he takes it away from his teammate. What a move by Jesse Phillips. He's coming back. Cradham's going to give it him back. Here's the point where they've got to be careful. How many chains have we seen pop off there through turn 3 and 4? Everything was fine. As out of the race, is it Archie Owen who's out of the race?
It's Evan Purcell
It's Evan Purcell. They've both gone. Here we go. It was always going to happen when it stacks up. Archie Owen and Evan Purcell's weekends and hopes of Miami Winter Cup victory are over.
Let's head across to iRACING, who's the first of our top 4 in the championship. Eli, yes, it's not pole position, but you are the highest ranked driver on the grid of those right at the sharp end of the championship. You've cut the lead to William Kalesia behind. Are you feeling you can do this? Can you take the championship lead today?
Yes.
So final lap board is going to come out now. Harry Bartle sees it, looking to take his 2nd win of the year. First win, first podium visit it would be as well, since all the way back at Dunk as well. Tinsley defends to the inside. I don't think Higgins is going to get involved in that though, because he has a 7-point advantage. But out of the final corner, Harry Bartle, through the final 2 turns, will take his 2nd win of the year, will take 2nd place in the championship and the place in Bahrain. But Matthew Higgins, from 2 weeks ago, a horrendous incident could have put pay to his season. It didn't happen for him 1 week ago at the World Championships, but here at PF International, a circuit where he's had so many successes over the years, he can now say for the first time he is Rear Tools Motorsport UK Senior Rotax British Champion.
Let's go with Maria Neto around her home circuits on this year's calendar, the Cartodromo International Algarve. The lap starts quick with high speeds through the right-handers of turns 1 and 2 before a tricky stop on the brakes into another right-hander, turn 3.
This is the part of the course though where Kenzo Craigie has been really strong for the past 10 laps or so. Noah Baglin has got to hold it together. He's got to pick his line very carefully off of the Litchfield Bridge. This could be the key point into hairpin number 1. Baglin goes right, Craigie goes left. Craigie, nearly off the road. Both of them are off the road. Craigie's going to look for the switchback. Hairpin 2 is going to be another opportunity for them. Backlund goes defensive again. Craigie's got his node ahead. Can he get on the power? And now he's off the road.
road. He's completely off the road. He's still side by side of Baglin and Craigie through the Fullerton S's. What a finish we're having here at PF International, which still not done. You can overtake everywhere around the circuit. Craigie looks down the inside. He's got the lead.
Welcome back, everybody, to Road Atlanta for the 10th and final round of this season of the Club 100 iRacing Championship. Andrew Mather and Reeve Taylor in the virtual DDMM comms box for you tonight. Don't worry, you're not missing any competitive action at the moment. Just a warm-up session to give a bit of a 10-minute breather between races 1 and 2. If you missed any of the action across the course of the season, don't worry, you can watch it back here for free on the DDMM YouTube channel. And if your senses are tingling for some Club 100 in real life action, well, don't worry, because this weekend DDMM will be providing the comms alongside Alpha Live at Silverstone, the brand new Silverstone kart track for the opening round of the season for the Club 100 North Championship. So cadet and juniors on the Saturday, and then the new Sprints North on the Sunday afternoon, and the SP40 North as well. The first time that SP40 gets some Alpha Live love. So do hope you can be with us for that. Tune in and share the feed amongst your family and friends. It would be really cool if Club 100 could be the most watched karting this weekend. There are some other events on around Europe, and I'm sure there's some in America as well, because there always is in America. But yeah, I'm going to put that as a challenge to the folks, Reeve. It's Silverstone, it's special, it's a brand new circuit, not just for Club 100 but for British karting. Let's get it supported. I'm taking one out the Henry Baudet playbook here. I want Club 100 to be the most watched karting this weekend whilst I'm sat on a big boat away on the other side of the Atlantic. Do you reckon we can do it?
Then. Yeah, I certainly think so. It should be, especially as you say, exciting new venue. Looking forward to it. I was slightly worried then that you were going to put me up for some challenge that you could make me endure while you go and have a lovely time with
family.
Some,
yeah.
Well, I was about to say with drink, but probably with family.
Yeah. Let's look through. Actually, no, let's not do it yet, because they're going to do a full lap of the circuit for a formation, aren't they? Right, let's try. Who invented this scoring system? Oh wait, that was me. For what's happening in terms of the scores at the moment. So, as I say, championship overall is done. Matt Swain's got that, and he's added tonight another 45 bonus points for his sheer attendance at every single round. At the moment, the second place scenario has Andrews on 1470 and Roberts on 1442. Their next drops are still 172 for Andrews and 120 for Roberts. We've thrown a couple of scenarios into the spreadsheet. I should stress these are always provisional, even in series that I run myself. These are still provisional from the spreadsheet of doom. We reckon this is going to be a big race for Tom Roberts, mate, because if he can win it and Max Andrews stays in that midfield region, we could be talking about a second place in the championship being decided by 5 points, less than 5 points. But that it's all about the win for Roberts in this one, because of course it's that gap. 120 points if you win the race, 111 if you finish second. That's why we saw Sam Spinell racing so hard for the race win in race 1.
Yeah, exactly. I would, to be honest, after we saw how Golf Line went, I'd pretty much written off that second place fight. But after that drive back up to 4th, I think it's very much on. I think the leading drivers from race 1 might be looking in the rearview mirror a little bit based on that pace.
Just a note in the club and battle as well, unofficially, provisionally, and all of that, we have a new leader. Unsurprisingly, Sam Spinell has already got rid of his 76 as the next drop. So every point that he scores from this point onwards tonight are fresh points. That 120's put him up to 1348. Tom Saunders, who has still got a bit of a way to go to get rid of what was his next drop at the start of the night, that 114, from actually last time out, the last round of the Masters. At the moment, yeah, he's what's that maths? About 61 points behind, to be exact. So you never know. Strange things can happen in motor racing, even in the sim. Let's talk you through the grid then for this last race of the season. That's quite sad to say that. But here it is. Sam Spinell starts on pole position. Remember, this is the result from race number 1. Matt Swain alongside on the front row. Sam Sanders and Tom Roberts go from row 2. Murray Adams and Andy Alston row 3. Cameron Watson and John Adey will go from row number 4. Next up on row number 5, Ollie Walker had a good run in that last race. Is alongside Jack Eyre on row 5. Lawrence Vines and Sam Dimolo there on row number 6. Into the second part of the grid then. Jack Mitchell-Lowe and Max Andrews go from row 7. It's then Matthew Shawnee and Ronald Grossman on row 8. Tom Saunders needs a miracle if he's still going to be Clubman champion. Starts this one from row 9 alongside Eric Mignon. Steve Hicks and James Fremont are on row 10 to complete the top 20. Matt Hale and Tim Ellis go from row 11. Daniel Cook and David Whitehouse go from row 12. If you can hear me, David, yes, you do score points for retirement. As long as you do more than one racing lap, you score points for the relative position that you are classified in. Craig Brown and Tom Holland complete the order on row number 13. Just very quickly as well, just to mention what we're looking at in terms of the intermediates. John Adey is now, again, similar to Sam Spinell, has gone beyond what is now his third drop. That 76 from a while back in the season, that's gone. So has already improved 8 points on his score from the start of the night. So 887 at the moment for John Adey. Matthew Shawnee has not quite got rid of what is his next drop at the start of the evening, but still has a lead, is on 949. Rookie, I should mention as well. 39 points is what we saw for Daniel Cook from that first race. It's on 704. Will hold a 63-point lead over Jack Mitchell-Lowe going into this last race of the season. Here we go then. Race 2 at Road Atlanta is underway. It's a lightning start from Sam Spinell from pole position. Sam Sanders is alongside champion-elect Matt Swain. Was that off the road? Oh, Spinell's off! Spinell off at turn 1. What has happened there? He's come back on circuit. Was that simply cold tyres? Oh, well, hang on a minute. Maybe the deal in Clubman isn't done. Let's have another look at that again. It was a lightning start, Reeve, and then, yeah, it just, big snap of oversteer into understeer, off the road. Like Matt Swain at the end of race number 1. Spinell's done very, very well to keep that car under control, but is now down in 14th place.
That is a lot of positions to drop there, as you say. Fantastic start. Barreled into turn 1 with momentum out of speed. I don't think the tyres are quite up for the task. That gives now looks to be a nice comfortable lead for Sam Sanders ahead of Swain. It's going to be Swain fighting from P2 once again. There's Roberts in the back on P3, but a notable gap to our leading duo at the moment, heading towards the chicane. Sanders now with a real opportunity to try and fight at the front end of the pack. We did see in race 1, he was doing this pretty much in race 1, just a couple of car lengths down on the 2 race leaders, so now it's his chance to go for that top step of the podium.
Just looking at some of the scores, actually, Sam Sanders could be on for some from some of the prize pot here. Sam missed the first 2 GT3 rounds, so one of them gets put in the bin as his worst GT3 night. The other will end up as his 3rd drop, because you can't drop 3 GT3 rounds. You have to drop within your 3 allowed one of the MX5 nights, which, as it happens, was a 10-point score from Osher Schlemmer. At the moment, I say, when Sam's been here for the GT3s, it's actually been very, very good this season. Scores of 220, 178. Sorry, that's me reading the wrong column. His scores in the GT3s have been 210, 186, and right now would be 225. I think he would snatch 4th place in the championship away from Axel Sliječević, or fourth in Premier, I should say, which is worth some iRacing dollars. So, yeah, Sam's going to want to keep pushing on for this one, and just to take a race win, because that always feels good. Let's go further down the field then. Right, what's the full situation? So Tom Roberts up to third place. Running there just ahead of Murray Adams. Andy Alston, so it's a Scottish 1-2 at the moment in the clubman ranks, 4th and 5th overall. Ollie Walker leading in intermediate. That is because John Adey has fallen down the order to 12th. He's 1 place ahead of Matthew Shawnee. These two, of course, very good friends, know each other very well. I almost wonder if this is a bit of very, very gentlemanly team tactics to have John Adey pace Matthew Shawnee through this one. Right now, it'd be an easy point situation for Matthew Shawnee to be the champion. We should note as well, Jack Mitchell-Lowe's not had a good start to this race, so in fact has just had a problem. Is this into turn 1 again? No, that was okay. Just the exit of turn 1 wasn't that great for Jack Mitchell-Lowe, so falls down the order once again into, actually no, I was about to say Daniel Cook once again back into the leading rookie, but no, apologies, it's Eric Mignon at the moment who is now leading in the rookie class. But again, that situation in terms of championship, that's very good for Daniel Cook, Reeve. Daniel Cook's got track position over his closest title rival.
He does indeed, and I'm sure is enjoying this race start much more than his previous one. Did want to give a quick shout out to some of our competitors who took an opportunity in the break to put a bit of a message of support in the broadcast chat, so thank you. And Craig Brown, who says he's going to go for the Sunny Hayes elite strategy in this one. Which, for all of you viewers of the F1 movie, I'm assuming he's been go from pretty much last to first and not spin off somewhere at various race circuits. And hello as well to Steve Hicks, who says to everyone, flash in support of DDMM, which I'd like to flash your headlights in support of Double Dash Motorsport Media. So
good clarification there.
Big thank you to any drivers who might be partaking in that.
Indeed. 5 minutes of this race gone then. Bear with us, folks. It's one of those where it's like old BUKC days this for me at the moment. Thrashing numbers into a spreadsheet to see what does this all mean.
I'm looking forward to this year's BUKC broadcast, I must say, but it is well known at this point that only you can work the spreadsheet of doom, Andrew. It's broken every time I've tried it.
Well, I'm working on that.
Master isn't.
Yeah, to make it more
master isn't there. Yeah.
Working to make it more user-friendly. At the moment, I think in terms of the second place battle, because that is one of the big talking points in this race, Roberts needs 10 points. So he needs to go up the road. He needs to win this race. Because right now, this would be a score of 105 from this race. Second would get him another 6 points. And then leave him 4 points short. And this is where the bonus points are coming into play. Because Roberts was a round 2 onwards entry, and rules are the rules. The reason why the bonus points are there are to encourage people to keep racing on later on in the season. And 26 drivers here tonight would suggest that is working. Right now, at the moment, those extra 45 bonus points that Max Andrews is scoring. And again, Max has had to race in all the races early on in the season and score points out on track as well. And could further improve his score also. He's up to 9th place in this one. So that, it could all be academic in the end if Max is able to race back up, say, into the top 5. But yeah, but I wouldn't rule it out for Tom Roberts, because we saw his second half of the race pace was very good, wasn't it, Reeve, in race 1?
It was indeed, and I think it goes to show we're talking about some very fine margins here after 10 rounds. It goes to show just how close and how competitive the field is. I mean, you can look back at the previous race finish as well. Half a second after 40 minutes. Oh, sorry, half a tenth after 40 minutes. It goes to show just how competitive this pack has been. We're seeing a bit more of that competition here. Ollie Walker's under pressure from Max Andrews. Max Andrews, I think, potentially hoping for a little bit more from this race weekend overall, and might be looking to get that as we head into our 9th minute of racing. Walker leading us down towards the end of the circuit in just a moment. But first, a big dash up the straight.
Does indeed. You know, the argument as well, you know, we've been saying the Achilles heel for Max has been the GT3s. Well, for Tom, you could argue, well, it's been the similar story for him in the MX-5s. You know, his lower scores, a 120 and a 144, for example, were in the MX-5s. And I always say with this series that the multi-car, multi-format, that multi-discipline-esque part of this championship is where you've got to be a jack of all trades to get the big prizes, which is a trait that very much leans itself towards CLUB100 in real life, in that you don't get to decide your setup, you run with what you've got. The equipment level is very, very level across the board, but all the cars race in different ways. Those who are able to extract the most performance from the wider range of cars, the ones who do well. This is a chance for Max Andrews, though, to potentially take 8th place. Ollie Walker was wide out of the S's. That's a good move from Max Andrews up to 8th place. Gains him a few more points in the context of the race night here, Reeve. Again, I'm just looking at the moment on the full scores. So at the moment, Max would be on a score for the night of 150. That would be his GT3 drop. So it would bring a 180 from Bathurst back into play. His score of a 172, his second worst Mazda score from earlier in the season, that would still count. So still that 10-point difference between Andrews and Roberts as things stand. So Andrews is still in that drops territory.
Cleared Walker, it'll be interesting to see what his pace can end up looking like as he tries to close up to this pack of Clubman drivers that we've got presenting in front of him at the moment. That pack being led by Andy Alston at the moment, who is your leading Clubman in this race. Half an hour to go at the moment. We haven't seen any brave early pitters this time around, at least from what I can see here. So I think everyone going for the safer option this time around. We saw one success story with it, but we also saw how it didn't quite work out for the Aston Martin there. As we go on board with this, it's a replay for Sam Spinell.
Yeah, just running a bit wide out of the turn 10 chicane. Of those who have pitted, James Fremont's been in the pits. Who else? In fact, yeah, everyone from 21st down have had some pit activity. So Holland, Spinell, Saunders, Dimolo, and Fremont. So, but crucially, Holland and Spinell are the ones who pitted in a period of the race where we're pretty much sure they will not make it to the end of the race. We know that from race number 1. I should note Ronald Grossman not running in this one as well. Not quite sure what's happened to Ronald. Apologies if I've had some reports that I've just not seen in the chat. Ronald's been a good addition to the series this year. I don't think he's quite going to place in a position that will give him any iRacing dollars, because he's outside the top 4 in the Premiers, but has still been having a good few moments. Got a class podium back at round 3 earlier on in the year. Back at the front though, Reeve, I think Tom Roberts must have heard me, because he's closed in the gap to the top 2. Matt Swain also starting to put a bit of increasing pressure perhaps on Sam Sanders.
They are indeed, and this is going to be a very interesting phase of the race now, because Swain and Roberts need to set aside their differences effectively and kind of, well, eliminate, definitely the wrong term, don't do that, drivers. They need to just sort of get rid of the problem of the BMW out in the front at the moment if they want to have their own squabbling out front. We go on board with Matt Hale here, currently running in 21st.
Yeah, I think Matt's had a problem. I've seen that big red bar of doom saying Matt Hale has crashed. And he has had a moment with Craig Brown. And quick recovery, I don't think there'll be too much damage on that car, if any damage at all, for the Leffe G3 Pro Ferrari. Matt, once again, I haven't got this stat to hand, but in a way I don't need it. Matt will end this season once again as the driver with the most Club 100 iRacing appearances. I think he's still on course to have been every single round of the championship's history, and if he's not, he's only missed maybe 1 or 2 in the space of 6 seasons, which is very good going.
Yeah, mega dedication. Thank you, Matt.
13 minutes of this race gone. Update in terms of what the points are looking like for the second place battle. Here's a really, really straightforward way of explaining it, folks. If to change the scenario of this 10-point gap by either Roberts or Andrews, they have to win this race. Done the maths on Max Andrews has dropped the situation, and only a race victory in this one would improve his worst GT3 score. Second place would not do it. Second place in this one would still leave him for the whole of a night, because remember, the drops are the whole race night. It's not like other championships where, say, like Club 100 sprints, you 3 heats in a final and you drop your worst final from round 5 and then a couple of heats from round 3 and round 7. No, it's the whole race night that gets dropped. Meanwhile, Matt Swain, just the body language of that car, Reeve. I thought he was going to maybe go for a move there on the BMW, but thinks better of it. But again, this is good for Tom Roberts. Tom Roberts properly in play now for this race win.
Yeah, absolutely. A real change in momentum for him there as we now head on to the start-finish straight. They stay in formation. Swain just has a very, very gentle glance at where he would put the car if he was closer. Can't do anything just yet, so they head down through the S's, continuing in that formation now. And you can see Roberts gets the car up to 2 wheels briefly there over that curb. These GT3s obviously taking the curbs very well overall. Up towards turn 6 we go in just a moment. And Saunders, at least for the meanwhile, seems to be pretty comfortable through those S's.
Does indeed. Change for 7th place. Max Andrews is through. So he's moving in the right direction. But again, that 14th place from race 1 is really, really hampering Max at the moment. So he's up till tonight, weakest GT3 score was last time out for the GT3s in Australia, that 180 points at Bathurst. It's sometimes a problem with the top score system. That's a strong night by any means. It means you've got to go even better to improve things at the latter end of the season. Right now it'd be on a score for tonight of 153. Got to keep moving up the order and probably hope that something unexpected happens further up the field. Let's talk Clubman, Reeve. It sometimes happens, doesn't it, in a championship? I think this is going to be a bit of a... do you know what? I'm feeling like I was about 65 minutes into the Steel City Derby on Sunday afternoon. I think I know which way this one's going, but it's just a bit of a damp finish, unfortunately, with both championship contenders a long way down the order.
I completely agree, Andrew, with all of my football knowledge.
Oh, yeah, you're not a football guy, are you?
What's the Steel City? Let's move on.
We should have beat them 4-5-0, and then Calvin Phillips got himself sent. Anyway. Yeah, at the moment, what are we looking at? So we're looking at Tom Saunders in 21st place in this one. That would, 102 for the race night. That would be his GT3 drop. It is still going to count for Sam Spinell, but that's mainly because some of his drops from early in the season were that bad, folks. Actually, no, I tell a lie. No, at the moment, this would be his GT3 night drop. He's on a score of 171 at the moment. His Portimao night of 177 is the next one up the road, although moving up the order here would help things. To get past Tom Holland, who is there, honest. Through into
right at
18th.
an inopportune moment.
Through into 18th place. So yeah, again, Sam Spinell just continuing to strengthen his claim to the Clubman title. But you've got to feel for Tom Saunders. What a rotten night this has been. It's still been a great season from a driver who's, again, debut season. You know, think back to a Clubman round win at round 4. But it's just the last third of this season hasn't gone his way. It's 3 rounds since we've seen Tom Saunders on the class podium at the end of a round. These scores are 147, 114, and potentially at the moment 102. Just not been quite enough to keep this title challenge rolling.
Yeah, what a shame for Saunders. You say flashes of brilliance certainly throughout the season, just not the way he would have wanted to have ended things. But, you know, a bit of a reset, obviously, in the break between the main championships now, as we go backboard with John Adey, who was running along quite nicely with Matthew Shawnee, but I think in that teammate duo, they've decided that it's going to be Shawnee, and there's been an incident here for Stevie Hicks, right on the run through towards turn 11 here. Needs to wait to try and get that AMG GT back underway. Is able to do so once his rivals are clear, but there's a lot of time lost for a driver who I was commending in race 1 for their ability to just scythe on through the order. It is an opportune moment, at least, for a pit stop there.
And damage to the rear of the car. Let's see how this happened. So Hicks was closing in on Matthew Shawnee. Oh, I thought he'd caught that. No, that's going to hit the wall. It's going to hit the wall on both ends of the car as well. So yeah, quite a bit of damage to the AMG. The reason I brought John Adey on the screen is John Adey has had a problem. Now, this is what happened to the Parachuting Carrots BMW. You can see he was ahead of his title. I don't want to use the word rival. Now there was a bit of an encouragement there from Steve Hicks. So no damage to the BMW, but I think that is going to be us calling intermediate. We're pretty much calling it already. Matthew Shawnee, after whatever happened at the start of race number 1, had to start from the pit lane, is now looking at securing this championship. And I've got to say, this is one of the stories that I am most happy to tell in this season. Matthew Shawnee joined CLUB100 Sim Racing Championships for the BUKC iRACING Trophy, which will have been the start of 2024. So yeah, Matthew's been racing with us for 2 years and joined us as a pretty much a complete novice to iRacing. And for anyone who's done iRacing is not an easy sim to it's not, by definition, it is not pick up and play. It's not arcade. It's not like other sims. You know, we've had a lot of drivers say come over from the Gran Turismo world, and before anyone starts going off in the chat, I love Gran Turismo. I think Gran Turismo is fantastic. It's, you know, the probably the game I'm most game into sim racing or organised racing myself. And then you step across to this and it's like, oh my goodness, you know, the tracks may be similar. You've got GT3s on Gran Turismo as well, and then you step into them on here and it's like, well, this is a different ball game. And Matthew had probably a year of a lot of spinning, a lot of crashing, a lot of, you know, looking to maybe get a top 20, and was a rookie last season. We always say with the rookies that we give them a couple of races to see, do we actually move them up to intermediate straight away? That didn't happen with Matthew last year. He was the very definition of a rookie, and that's why we have the rookie class, to give them something to aim for, to race for, to encourage, to then move them up into the intermediate class, say a year later. And then you look at how much Matthew has improved this year. I would have not predicted this at the start of this season, for Matthew Shawnee to be the intermediate champion. I was wrong. He has done an incredible job, and not just that, he's won it or I'd say not quite won it yet, but if we can get to the end of this race, he will have won it in convincing fashion. Last time out at Virginia International Raceway was the first time we didn't see Matthew on the podium in class. He went 8 rounds in a row. Talk about consistency. He went 8 rounds in a row being one of the top 3 intermediates. he has had a tremendous season, and I think becomes the blueprint as well, Reeve, for those in rookie this season, for what they could do, say, in a year's time.
Yeah, absolutely. Really impressive to hear a bit more of the background of Matthew. I don't think I could have matched anything similar to that type of rate of progression. I've done 2 sessions in iRacing, and less said about them, the better, really. One of which was in one of these cars at Bathurst. That was a trial by fire. Yeah, really impressive stuff from Matthew Shawnee there. So I think that's a bit of good encouragement, isn't it? If you're watching along, or if you've heard of the championship and you're thinking, I don't know if I can do it. You can. Get involved.
Yeah.
Get in that rookie roster. Get your name on our grid and have some fun and have some great racing, because that's what we've enjoyed for the past 10 rounds. As we're on board with Sam Sanders, who's leading by a pretty comfortable margin now. He had that pressure from earlier on, but now settles in to a comfortable rhythm here. Has 15 minutes left and has not a massive amount of breathing room. It's only about 1.5 seconds. But for the time being, he can kind of focus back on his own race once again instead of looking in the rearview mirrors.
He can indeed. Sam, so far this season, best result in a round. Second as... Oh, what have you spotted there?
That was a very near moment there. The commentator's curse, I think, very nearly smited down, but he did well to correct it.
Jack Eyre in the pits in one of the Rethink Racing Mustangs. Big props to Rethink Racing once again. Their community of drivers have brilliantly supported this championship once again. This is a standard mandatory pit stop for Jack. Just to check as well, how's Jack looking in terms of potentially picking up some well-earned iRacing dollars? Yeah, he's looking good. I think he's maybe just still behind Cam Watson in the fight for third in Clubman, which has probably gone under the radar, I should mention. Just come out behind Max Andrews there. So Max has pitted, I say with a semi-assumption, because I didn't actually physically see it. Yes, he has. So Max has been in and out and done his mandatory pit stop. Oh dear. Oh, is that James Fremont in a bit of trouble? I think it is. Yeah. Let's have a look at what happened here. Now, as James had the classic coming out of... the last oh no, that was the end of that incident. Let's try and find a different angle of that one, because Motul got some very good advertising offers there, but that didn't really tell us much about what happened. Oh, it's happened again. We'll have another go at this. We're just increasingly getting on the screen. We will get this. There we go. So yeah, I think what's happened there, speaking from experience, James has come out of the S's, lit it up a bit too much, ended up there. I'd say you're in good company, James, but that company would be myself, which is why I'm a commentator. I think that's as good an angle as we're going to get on that one.
Yeah, never a true word spoken. I like that shot. It looked like something out of Jurassic Park. You could just see it in waiting, just behind the bushes there. Eventually the car would escape as Mitchell Lowe leaves the pits there just in front of David Whitehouse. They're going to have a bit of a squabble, I suspect, as they exit pit and get back up to race pace. Sam Sanders also in the pits. Now our race leader then dropping in to the pits.
Yeah, really good first stint from Sam Sanders, the driver who joined the community through the BUKC, raced for the University of East Anglia. So tick off your DDMM bingo cards. They talk about UEAA and UEAA and all of that business. The one from Norwich. But as I say, joined the championship, has been in the championship for a good number of years, but joined a little bit later than most this season. At the moment is looking at potentially 4th place in the final standings with this strong finish. Ollie Walker in as well from the lead in intermediate, hands that back to John Adey. There's the driver who is on course to win the intermediate championship and pick up a free race day with CLUB100 later on in the year. Get in contact with the drivers and see which SB40 and experience days they're available for. Get them on the grid. As I say, the first round. Hey, it could be a live stream round. Oh, do I try and push them to do that one? Do you reckon
now that would be exciting.
PF? PF International's a live broadcast round. Yeah, try and make that happen. In the pits, Matt Swain and Tom Roberts. Could actually be quite an important pit stop this for Reeve for these two, because we have seen them. We have seen changes of position in the pits before in these GT3s.
We have indeed, so it's all going to come down to a bit of procedure here. Who is quick, quite literally, on the button to get out of the pit stop? Who's taking as much trouble? Roberts is quicker out of the box, but it's going to be a bit of a drag race here. We're still going to be side by side. Roberts
in the wall.
doesn't want to give it up, but might be damaging his car and doing that there. Very slight front left damage to his car. He is going to be able to continue on with that though, but that was a bit brave to try and escape the pits in that fashion. Now, crucially, these two drivers in their pit interval going for a bit of an overcut there. They're ahead of Sam Sanders.
Yeah.
It's now a P1 and a P2 for Swain and Robert. Sanders, though, back up to race speed, has got those tyres up to a good temperature. It's going to put pressure on Roberts, who has a potential bit of aero. Not quite at its full potential. It's going to be very minor if it is, but still not ideal.
Let's have a look at that again. I can fully understand why Tom Roberts pushed that, because he knew he had to get track position. This is all about the points. Yeah, I think that's always going to be Matt's corner, though. Matt got out ahead, but as I say, Roberts has gained out of that in terms of this race. Is up to P2. That does come with some extra points, of course. So moves from a score for tonight of 204 would now be on 210, and but. It's 4 points short. 4 points short. Needs to get past Swain. That would give him an extra 9 and give him second place in the championship.
We've certainly seen crazier things at the end of these CLUB100 iRacing races over the past few rounds, so I don't think you can rule anything out yet, and I think that is why Sam Sanders is hanging on and looking pretty potent, as well as he's pushing that M4 to its absolute limit. 10 minutes left to go on the clock in this one, and I don't know why, I've just had the thought, I don't know why this is occupying some of my brain. Is it called the Steel City Derby because both teams are from Sheffield?
Oh, it is. Exactly.
There we go. I've learned something about football. That was relevant.
Still relegated, though. That was the important thing. Anyway, so the other context of this, prize pots on the line here. Worth 10 iRacing dollars if we could get through. Oh, now I'm seeing drivers with. Oh, yes, Ollie Walker in trouble. Rear right damage. Now, how has that happened? Has something happened with Steve Hicks? Oh, no, that's a... Oh, okay. So Steve Hicks has had a big off there. Through the S's, rebounded back into the circuit. I don't think there's much that Hicksy could do about that. And then has collected Ollie Walker. Let's have another look at that. So this is coming down through the S's. Back end of the Mercedes is going to go, I've had enough of being a planted rear end today. And then just Lawrence Vines does very, very well there to avoid that. Let's see if we can actually see that on board with Lawrence Vines. This is the view, and from driver's right, oh my goodness me. Lawrence has done very, very well there. Yeah, we've got a 1x through his troubles, maybe even a slowdown, but at least he's not had impact from an out-of-control Steve Hicks. This was the view on board with Walker, and bang, there it is. Race pretty much over for Ollie Walker into the gravel, rear right broken, and that is a real shame for Ollie Walker. 100% not his fault there.
That is a terrible shame there. What a shame for Steve Hicks as well, who started this race weekend looking so strong. Obviously, qualifying didn't go his way, but race one, he was one of my highlights in terms of just how well he progressed through that pack. Race two, unfortunately, a note to forget about, really. Not a way you want to finish the championship. Sam Dimolo now exiting the pit in that intermediate battle. Sorry, I'm already in BUKC mode, clearly. And just behind Matt Hale here.
Yeah, that was a spin a few moments ago for Sam. 8 minutes of this race to go then. And looks like we've got our pictures for the championship's pretty much set, unless Tom Roberts can find 1.5 seconds and, of course, overtake Matt Swain. Sam, I should note as well, Sam Spinell up to P4. What a drive that is.
Wow.
Should note though, he's going to have to pit again. He is going to have to pit.
Oh.
Because this was one of the drivers who pitted on lap 1. Sam's been a bit of a miracle worker in the second half of the season, but I don't think even he can make the fuel on the Mustang go 30-31 laps. We will run to time on this one. The 33 laps in the top left-hand corner is the setting in the lobby, just to ensure that the race does go to the time, the allotted time, not a distance. I think David Whitehouse has had some problems. There you go, just recovering. Oh yeah, damage on the front left. What's happened here with David? Oh, now what's? Oh my goodness me! There were numerous cars involved in that one. I think one of them may have been Matt Hale taking some avoiding action.
Did I see the white Porsche of Lawrence Fines as well? Oh no, sorry, it's a 296.
Ah, netcode. That is.
Oh.
I think what's happened there, Tom Holland's netcode has pitched David into a spin, and Matt Hale has then gone to driver's left in avoiding action. That is going to be how we summarise that one.
Hello to Down to Race in the broadcast comments. It's a good point of the evening, chap. Disappointed to see the British rain hazard made its way over Georgia. Which is true. I don't know where the British rain's gone. If it's not in Georgia, where is it?
It is. I am. Do you know what? I am so glad to be going on holiday. Not just because it's nice to go on holiday, but to get away from the soddy rain. Oh, it's been a quite nice day here in Oxfordshire today, but
yeah.
And even then, when I go overseas to Spain, it's still. I mean, it was windy, but it was still better weather than here. Anyway. No, good to hear from you, Tim. Tim Penny, one of the regular runners. I forget, Tim, are you on the entry list for this weekend? Let us know if you are. Quite often runs in the SP races on a Saturday in the Southern Championships, as we now call them.
Seeing some lovely back marker work here from Matt Swain, just working his way through that pack cleanly as he can. Obviously in a pretty comfortable leading position now. Robert also doing the same, just a few car lengths back, or around about a corner back. And I think Swain now is settling into a much more of a calm end to the race compared to race one as we go further back down the pack. Jack here battling it out with Andy Elston. Andy obviously previously leading the CLUB100. That has all changed up in the pit lane, but they are still going to go fighting tooth and nail. Max Andrews also in the mix to try and pick up a few more points where and when he can, and Elston leads it on to the next lap.
Should note as well, I think that damage from the tap on the wall exiting pit lane has affected Tom Roberts here, because he's lost second place to Sam Sanders. This is a good scrap here for 6th, 7th, 7th, 8th and 9th, in fact 10th as well, because Tom Saunders has joined the fray. Over the top of the brow of the hill, cutting to driver's left there, two Rethink Racing cars from the same stable, but very different machinery, of course, the Mustang versus the 911. And of course these drivers fighting for potential major placings in the clubman ranks at the end of this season. In fact, it is a bit of, it's the position that Andy Alston's defending right now. Yes, trying to hold off a teammate, but this could be for iRacing dollars, folks. Good defence there from Andy Alston. 3 minutes of the race, 3 minutes of the season to go then.
I don't believe it. Can't believe it's time already. It has As I say, it's a long season. We mentioned it earlier on, 22 weeks overall, but it does feel like they have absolutely flown past. The weeks have absolutely torn on by, and that is partly due, I think, because the racing has just been so much fun. It's quite easy to forget that actually, start to finish, and I know it's even longer for you, Andrew, these broadcasts, they're about 3 hours, aren't they, in kind of getting all the work that goes on behind the scenes, so big thank you to all that. But the time absolutely flies by, because we have such good fun at watching battling alike, and this is Air goes side by side with Alston. Is going to try and have a bit of a look around the outside if he can make it stick, but he can't, has to think better of it, and just wait for another opportunity. Maybe one would have presented itself on the run onto the back straight here, but I think might be under threat from Andrews. Seems to have abated that for the time being, but they head in quick succession, all in single file, down that straight, and Air's going to have another look once again, I get the feeling, into the left-hander in just a moment. Well defended, though, by Alston, who covers him off as much as he can, makes that 9-11 as wide as he can, but there is an inside line there for Air to go down. Is he going to back off? I think he is, and that is the sensible move in the end.
That round!
Little bit of a tap there, has upset that Mustang, and right under the bridge, Air is out of the count in that battle. Alston continues on. That promotes Saunders, Andrews, and going to be everyone else at this race up a place. What a shame for Jack Air.
Jack Air out of the top 10 then. Once again, that exit from the chicane has been very, very tricky for Sun tonight. Should note, I found it. How did Sam Sanders get through past Tom Roberts? This was it. Oh, that's an experienced driver's move. I think he'd have a go into the chicane, got Roberts off the main racing line, and then got it done on corner exit. But we are approaching the end of this one. Here is your race leader by 2.9 seconds. This race, I think, in some ways typifies the season. Has it been on the point side of things a dominant performance from our champion again? Yes, very much so, like we've seen previously with Josh Lads and Indy Kieran Harrisons and other drivers over the years who've won this championship. However, I don't think any of them have had as hard a campaign as Matt Swain. Matt Swain's consistency, Matt Swain's composed nature as a driver, I think is what's won him this championship. He's been pretty quick as well, but whereas previously we've been talking about champions being 5-10 seconds down the road on occasions, Matt Swain's had to fight for this every race, including tonight. Had to overcome a very fast start from Sam Sanders. In race 1, had that brilliant duel with Sam Spinell. As I say, he hasn't really had that many times where he scored a 240. Nobody has this season. But for Matt Swain, he'll be on a grid in a Club 100 race later on in the year, because he is your champion and he is your race 2 winner here tonight. He takes the round to boot here at Road Atlanta. Matt Swain wins it in the end from Sam Sanders and Tom Roberts third. That means Max Andrews will be second in the championship. It's not been a great night for Max Andrews. It's not done yet as well, because look at this over the line. Sam Spinell has somehow made his fuel work and got over the line fourth. He will be your champion in Clubman. Over the line there, Adams fifth, Watson sixth, Andrews seventh, Saunders eighth. I'm flummoxed, by the way. How has Sam Spinell managed to do that? So he pitted on lap 1. I genuinely don't, unless he's done the most unbelievable fuel save run through that race. He's come over the line P4, and yeah, pitted on lap 1, wins the Clubman's. Wow. Where is Matthew Shawnee? We need to see Matthew Shawnee. There is Matthew Shawnee. That is the title for Matthew Shawnee. What a turnaround. From a rookie last year, moved up to intermediate. This was meant to be another development year. This was meant to be a getting used to racing with the more experienced guys. Matthew Shawnee will be a clubman next season. Takes the championship in this one. will do the points, but it may well be a 1-2 as well in the championship stakes in intermediate with John Adey and Daniel Cook as well. Oh dear, Tim Ellis has had a problem there right at the end of things, but that will be the rookie title for Daniel Cook also. He's had a testing night. That was a bit nervy when he had that crash in race number 1, but it is job done for Daniel Cook. I tell you what else is good to see, Reeve, a number of drivers staying out on circuit for one last cruising. Sometimes they all just pull over and jump straight out of the lobby, but that's not happening tonight. Jack Mitchell-Lowe will have been taken second place in rookie as well. A really strong performance here tonight, 15th place in that one. And as we say, all done. That is the last race of the season completed. Let's bring you your final race result then here in the feature. Matt Swain wins it once again. That is a score tonight of, sorry, the third just appeared again, for Matt Swain of 231. And as I say, he's only had, one perfect 240 of the night. Ignore this. It's technically not allowed in the rules, but it's the last night of the season. Who cares? 210, 240, 228, 231, 220, 219, 222. He's only had a score for a round below 200 once. That is impressive in what was probably the most competitive season of this championship we've ever seen. And Sam Sanders P2, Tom Roberts third in that race, fourth for Sam Spinell, and with that Sam will be confirmed as the Clubman champion, so he gets a free race for a go in either SP40 North or Experience, and will more than likely, just got to do all the maths to confirm it, we'll move up to Premier next year. Murray Adams fifth. Great run for Murray tonight. Trying to find Murray where Murray. It's a 2 top 5s for Murray tonight. His best GT3. Let's not have a picture of an upside down club. The JV's not going to like that. So take that away from the screen. That's why I normally don't want them crashing at the end of a race event. 2 top 5s for Murray Adams tonight. That's a 186. It's his best GT3 score of the season, and I tell you what, that might have moved him up a little bit further in the final championship scores. Of course, these results have all got to go through Stewards' process as well, so they're not absolutely final. Cam Watson sixth place rather. Cam's had a good season. In terms of performance versus the rest of his GT3 nights, I think that could be a best of the season as well. Equal best on a 177 out of 240. Max Andrews 7th. A brave run there. This will go down as a drop. This will be his lowest GT3 score of the season, but still 153 points, and just holds on to second place in the championship as well. Highlights being very much in the MX-5s. 2 round wins, of course, for Max Andrews across the course of the season, all the way back at Navarra for round number 1, and then I want to say for Zolder as well at round number 5. Rest of the top 10, Tom Saunders, brave effort from Tom Saunders. Tom Saunders will more than likely be a Premier next year. Will finish in the end, I think, 6th in the championship, unless he improved his score right at the end. Apologies, there's a lot of live maths going on here. We'll stay 6th, just behind Axel Slijepcevic, 2nd of the Clubman, so he does get a good haul of iRacing dollars for that one. Andy Alston 9th and Matthew Shawnee 10th. As mentioned, Matthew Shawnee will be your champion in the intermediates. As I say, from the back of the grid, it was actually his 2nd best score of the season in the GT3s, so I think that'll be almost up to a 100-point lead perhaps by the end of this one. Lawrence Vines 11th, Jack Eyre 12th, had that spin late on. John Adey in 13th place will end the season with his best GT3 score of the season. Actually, no, it was a little bit closer than I thought in the intermediates. In the end, it was 31 points between Matthew Shawnee and John Eddy. So there's another advocate for keep attending all the rounds. In a way, Matthew Shawnee's attendance at every single round has meant that he's been able to get that one over the line, along with his consistency across the course of the season. 14th place for Daniel Cook. Again, pretty much from the back of the grid. That again is another best score for someone in the GT3. Second best score of the season for Daniel Cook. His best was a 108 back at round 5 back in Belgium for that great round at Zolder in the mixed conditions. But well done to Daniel. Again, he'll more than likely be up to intermediate for the next competition. And Jack Mitchell-Lowe kept him honest tonight. Really, really good drive there from Jack Mitchell-Lowe in 15th place. And it wouldn't surprise me if that is the best GT3 score of the season. Yes, it is for Jack Mitchell-Lowe. Which again, I say, if there was one more round, Jack might have caught up there. 36 points was the difference between those two in the end. Tim Ellis, 16th tonight. Eric Mignon has been a credit to himself and the rookies as a whole class this season. Eric's gone from being towards the back of the grid at the start of last season, has now been regularly in the top 5 in the rookies this season. I think that's going to be a podium, his second class podium of the season here tonight. Tom Holland home in 18th place. It's been great having Tom back for the second half of the season. A few drivers having problems in that one. Matt Hale, Sam Dimolo and David Whitehouse all off the lead lap. James Fremont, big thanks to James and all of his hard work with the cinematography this year. P22. Ollie Walker, real shame for Ollie Walker. Up to the point of that incident that was not his fault. An out of control Steve Hicks unfortunately rebounding back into the circuit. Ollie was on for a very, very strong score. Probably one of his best scores, if not his best score of the season so far. As I frantically try and find... it would have been by miles. Might still be his best score. In fact, yeah, I think it will be. But he'll score points at 23rd in that one. Steve Hicks 24th. And then a retirement for Craig Brown and Ronald Grossman, I don't think took the start of the race. And with that, that is us done in terms of the officialdom for this season. Reeve, you joined me, what was it, round 3, round 4, for the start of earlier on this season. What have you made of it, your debut season on comms for the CLUB100 iRACING Championship?
Well, quite simply, thoroughly enjoyed it. It has been immense. And the racing has been fantastic. The community around it has been, welcoming and really very active as well, which is always great to see in a sim racing championship. It's good to see, it's not just the racing on the night. People are doing other events outside of this championship as well together, and we'll obviously see each other in the real world of CLUB100 racing as well this season. So yeah, thoroughly enjoyed my first season. Looking forward to 2 more, and a big thank you, Andrew, for having me along for the ride.
Absolutely, been a pleasure. Indeed, this weekend there'll be DDMM comms from Reeve and from Jacob Harris at Silverstone. Do tune in for that if you can, and if you can't, don't worry. Every single moment is free to view and free to watch back on the Alpha Live channel. Other things coming up I'll go for the next month or so, because of course we haven't got another one of these rounds currently scheduled after this. Normally I give the next 2 weeks. As I say, we've got CLUB100 from a DDMM perspective on Saturday and Sunday. The next commentary after that will be the first round of the IAMA Euro Series. That'll be over on the RGMMC channels. That will be from the 12th to the 14th of March. First round at Zwera. Brilliant circuit. If you've not watched racing around that place before, do join myself and Anthony Jordan, the regular. No, apologies. It won't be Anthony for this one. It will be Guillaume Alvarez for that one. Me and Guillaume finally get to share a box together for those 3 days. We'll also have comms from Shenington Kart Racing Club, myself, all being well, flying back for the Sunday. Come on, this time we will get through a whole meeting with all the finals. That is the thing. We've got to the end. I can say it now. We've got to the end of this meeting. All the racing has run. We are still in a case of if I turn up physically for a race event, it doesn't get all the way to the end. But we are trending towards a full meeting. Shenington, we had 3 heats. Valencia, we had all but 3 heats. And then Shenington for round 2 a few weeks ago, we had all but a few finals. So we're getting there. Then BUKC, we're not live streaming One Law. All of Alpha's, or a lot of Alpha's kit is still out doing things like with series and things like that. But it all then comes back mid-March, and it means we can do some BUKC live action. Yourself, Reeve, and John Ratcliffe. No, sorry, again, I assumed then from last year you're not doing any of BUKC this year. You're a man of the North, so it'll be John Ratcliffe and Jake Palmer in the box for BUKC Dunkeswell. And then just to wrap off March, we'll have CLUB100 sprints down at Clay Pigeon on that one, and maybe some other stuff that weekend as well. We just need to work out the details indeed for that. So those are all the bits for DDMM comms coming up, with so many people doing them I can't even remember who's exactly doing which gig. This is why I need a holiday. Big thanks once again to our sponsors for this evening, Overdrive kartshop.com. Honestly, if you're in owner karting and you need gear, I had a look at the website earlier. They've got tons of stuff, but particularly go and have a look at the 3D printed parts. They've got some really cool nifty bits on there for various things, whether it be on the cart or in your awning, at your workstations, etc. So big thanks to them for their support. Reeve, any last words before we check out for the last time this season?
Well done, drivers, I'd like to say. Been a very good season, some fantastic racing. Big thank you to all of those taking part. Big thank you to everyone watching as well.
Thank you very much indeed. That's it then. Thank you very much, everybody. If you want to get involved, I say we've not got anything planned this very minute, but we are hoping to run some events between now and whenever the next one of these CLUB100 iRacing Championships are on. The SimGrid link is in the description below. Do have a look on there, and we'll see you very soon. If you've enjoyed the broadcast and you've not done so before, if you don't mind hitting that like button and hit the subscribe button as well if you want to hear more from us. This has been Double Dash Motorsport Media, DDMM Sports Commentary broadcast for the CLUB100 iRacing Championship. My name's been Andrew Mather. He's been Reeve Taylor. Thank you very much for joining us, whether it's been just for tonight or any part of the season. We will see you very soon.